Chefs of Reddit, what's is your single favorite ingredient and why? Shallots. As an avid home cook, I can confirm. I now grow them and use them freshly cut off the plant because I can never go back. Edit, why would someone delete shallots? Edit 2, I'm using green onion, not shallots. The comment wasn't just deleted, it was removed by mods for some reason. I, too, love adding a pinch of deleted to my data expunged. I redacted too. I've never seen anything MRE deserving of being on r/conspiracy. What are they trying to hide about shallots? Reddit link. I guess it's big onion. Guess the mod really hates shallots. Must be one of those big shallot shills. I wish mods in high traffic default subs were forced to provide more clarity. Is this a rule I should be aware of? Are shallots a dangerous substance I should be aware of? Why are shallots being censored? It shallot shall not be discussed. Big Onion has entered the chat. Lol, I'm crying. Chef here. Lemon juice enhances flavor in almost anything. Vinegar is too dominant for me. Original poster replies. Thanks. Acid is delicious. LSD is lovely with any dish. Spoiler, it's the secret flavor in Bender's iron-cooked dishes. It's a good thing. Sumac. Seriously, get yourself a huge bag for like $15 bucks and thank me later. It's lemony and salty, sweet and smoky and earthy and beautifully red. Sprinkle it on toast, curry, chicken, steak, tacos, deviled eggs, ice cream. Just about everything. You can also brew it like tea and it has an intense wild berry flavor. My mom is half Iranian, so we grew up eating sumac with our rice all the time. My parents thought it was hilarious when little I asked for some while at a friend's house, and of course they had never heard of it. Sumac. Same, I come from an Iranian family. I actually came here to say saffron though. Saffron's great, but it's friggin' expensive where I live. Where do you live, Earth? How did you know? Be diligent in asking friends if they're allergic. It can come as a big surprise. I have an uncle who found out he was highly allergic to it when he moved to a new house. There was a large patch of sumac blocking his view of the lake. They are very resilient plants, so he decided to burn it. The smoke hit him and he went into anaphylactic shock. One of our visiting relatives happened to be carrying an EpiPen which saved his life. Whoa, that was a dramatic read. Thank goodness, your relative was there and had an EpiPen. Thoughts on Zodder? I bought some on a whim once and it became my favorite addition to roasted veg, poultry, lamb, you name it. It's a mix of sumac, ground sesame seeds, and other herbs I can never identify. Edit, spelling. Zodder is amazing. You can have it with olive oil. Dip a small piece of pita bread in olive oil, then dip that same piece in a separate bowl with zodder, obviously another bowl from the storage container, for breakfast and thank me later. Or bake them in a thin pizza base and you get an excellent monakish, a-okay hand. Brad Leone has entered the chat. Andy has left the chat. The entire Bon Appetit staff has left the chat. Cries while reading the chat. I'm a big fan of cayenne powder. I throw a pinch in everything to give it a zing. Are you Chef John? Lol. Roasted sesame seed oil. It adds a light nuttiness and saltiness to a dish. Use with care though. It's amazing, but it can overtake a dish fast if you use too much. My experience with sesame seed oil is 1. Use 1/3 of what recipe calls for. 2. Taste nothing but sesame oil in whatever I make. That and almond extract. Always way too overpowering for me. Vinegar. It is often the thing that is missing when people go for more salt and spices in their cooking, wondering why it doesn't taste quite as good as in a restaurant. I used vinegar once and didn't like it. I had vinaigrette. r/to jokes, Reddit link. Can you tell me more on this? I understand vinegar can help break down meat to make a really nice tender stew or ribs, but what else do you use it for? Mostly red sauce type dishes, I assume? Do you use white vinegar? Malt? Red wine? It's just a good all-purpose acid. I mostly use apple cider vinegar, since I like to take nips from the bottle while I cook, but malt and red wine will add a little more flavor, which can be good or bad. White is very neural, very cheap, and very strong, and doubles as a handy cleaner. Is a cliché, but it's a cliché for good reason. I don't think I've ever made a bad dish that checked those 4 boxes. Edit. Vinegar's main advantage as an acid is that it's pretty neutral, it doesn't add much flavor beyond tangy. I'm not a confident enough cook to call a tomato or lime juice audible, but I have no qualms about adding a splash of ACV. Web link. I mostly use apple cider vinegar, since I like to take nips from the bottle while I cook, that's why I like cooking with wine. And whiskey. Crap, I once flambéed oyster mushrooms in absinthe because it made sense at the time. Dude, I got drunk last time it snowed about 6 inches here, and decided to go cook fried egg sandwiches in my fire pit on my cast iron pan. Best effin' meal ever lol. Fried egg sandwich on toast with Texas Pete. Did I read your comment correctly saying you like to take nips from an apple cider vinegar bottle? I used to pour vinegar in a glass and sip it like a nice scotch when I was younger. Truly a vinegar fiend. I got hooked on apple cider vinegar for a long time. I used it to help wean myself off soda. The recipe I read said a capful in a glass of water, but I quickly found myself putting much more in, like something short of a 1/4 cup. Ended up drinking it regularly for like a year, and then finally just lost the taste of it for a while. I'll still have one once in a while. I'm a recovering alcoholic and I'll take a shot of ACV whenever I miss that burn. Sometimes it's harder to break those little rituals than it is giving up the actual substance. There's something about pouring yourself a shot, and it giving you a hit in the chest when you breathe out, that is a huge relief on stressful days. Edit, added commas. I use lime juice for that. Straight lime juice. That crap lets you know you are alive. That sounds pungent, but I'm glad to know somebody else out there gets it. Some of my friends in sobriety have called it comfort seeking, but it helps. I think it might be the same reason smelling or tasting mustard helps with cramps, you know. The shock to the system shuts my brain up. Roman legions drank vinegar and water. You're in good company. Ugh, my wife loves apple cider vinegar in her water, it's so gross. And now you're telling me she's like a badass Roman legionary? Salt fat acid heat is why my collards, cooked with salty chicken stock, bacon fat, red wine vinegar, and red pepper flakes, and shallots and garlic, always turn out so well. Not original poster, but if you have a dish that is rich like a stew, you can add a little vinegar to add a bright note to help balance the flavors. I do this in soups I make. I use sherry or rice wine or apple cider vinegar, or something in the same family, to periodically deglaze when I'm pan cooking on the stove to keep meats tender and moist. Makes a world of difference, in my opinion. Just a splash here and there when the pan/temp dictates it. Especially malt vinegar. Bay leaves. Like salt, you don't want them to be the dominant flavor in anything, but they make a night and day difference in stews, pasta sauce, you name it. Around my house, we call it the lucky leaf if you find one in your bowl. Yes. Helps calm the kids down when they find unexpected plant matter in their food. Time stems count too. Bay leaf in stew is alchemy. I don't know what it tastes like specifically, but if you skip it, the dish is sucky. I just got fresh bay leaves online, not the odorless stuff that comes from the grocery store. It smells similar to gunpowder green tea. It's amazing. They do something. I've never noticed any flavor at all. Have I only come across ones that were too dry? It's fairly common for bay leaves to be sold old and lacking. I started buying them fresh and drying them, and myself made a huge difference. But any good spice purveyor will have bay leaves far better than what you can get in a regular grocery store. Try burlap and barrel or Penzeys. Chef of 25 years. Personal favorite is Worcestershire sauce. Use it more at home than in restaurants I've worked. Such a nice umami though. My grandma has a bunch of severe allergies. Well, at least, that's what she tells people. For years, we have speculated that she's just really picky when it comes to food and, instead of admitting it, she just tells everyone that she's allergic to whatever food she doesn't like to eat. The biggest one is seafood. She is deathly allergic to seafood, and the type of fish that gives her the worst reaction are anchovies. So, anyways, we're out at the Melting Pot fondue restaurant one night, and they're making us the cheese fondue right at the table in front of us. The chef goes to add a few splashes of Worcestershire sauce and I'm like, stop. Sorry, but my grandma is allergic to anchovies, so we'll skip the Worcestershire, thank you. And my grandma goes, I get this all the time. I love Worcestershire sauce and use it all the time. Hey. Busted. I told her that Worcestershire sauce is literally made out of fermented anchovies, and she flipped out and denied it, said there's no way that's possible, and refused to look it up or read the back of a bottle. She still eats it all the time and is still deathly allergic to anchovies. I had no idea that's what it was made from. Till. Same with Caesar dressing. You know, it's possible she is intolerant of unfermented seafood, but okay with fermented seafood. I have a heap of intolerances, IBS, thanks a bunch, but I find I can eat just about anything with no ill effect if it's fermented. Something about the process stops my guts from wigging out. At Edit, for those pointing out that intolerances and allergies are different things, I'm aware, but a lot of people aren't and use allergic for both. If something makes your lips swell up, do not eat it, even if it's just a little bit. One day without warning it may suddenly not be a little bit and more like I can't breathe. Stay safe, chaps. Yep. It's why people with lactose intolerance can still generally eat yogurt. Wait, we can. I would start with a good brand. Not all yogurt is equal, and eat a little at first, but yes, you should be okay with any yogurt containing live cultures. Well, son of a bitch. Thanks. Is Yoplait a good brand, or should I go with something less mass-produced? Yoplait I don't think has the live cultures, but if you went with Activia, it does. Otherwise, most Greek yogurts have live cultures. My favorite yogurt though is Mountain High Plain. It's lighter than Greek yogurt with a nice tanginess but not too much. I mix grape nut cereal, raisins, and chia seeds in with mine. Also, whole milk yogurt is typically much better for you than low-fat or fat-free. Those are vestiges of the war on fat from the 80s and 90s that people won't let go of. Just make sure it has live and active cultures, the container should say this. Some yogurts are heat-treated for preservation and they might not be as safe. Probably the bacteria along with it. I've had patients with allergic reactions to prolonged consumption of fermented foods, and that's the same but opposite theory in research I've looked up. Not a chef, but a baker. Cardamom. It's still not super common in American baked goods, and while I love cinnamon, that flavor isn't special to my palate anymore. Cardamom gives such a warm, floral scent/flavor to whatever you make, and can be paired with so many things. Treat yourself, add some cardamom and orange zest to your next batch of banana bread. Orange heart. Edit. Good gods, you Redditors appreciate cardamom. Thank you for showing it. Edit 2. I didn't realize how many people had replied to this. I am excited to read what looks like a lot of great recipe ideas and neat insights after work. Thank you for all of the awards. This is my most upvoted post by about 10.3K, and I'm so glad it was all for the love of spicy sweets. Have a great day everyone, and visit your local bakery, safely. I love when my Indian colleagues bring in sweets because more often than not, they have cardamom in them and I love the flavor. I am currently sipping tea which has cardamom in it, smiley face. OHHH, I'm Indian and just found out I've been eating cardamom my whole life without even realizing, LOL. Finally found it. Cardamom tastes and smells of Christmas and reminds me of all of Mom's amazing mass cookies. Cardamom is incredibly inviting. The fragrance and the flavor add dimension. I really don't know how to put it into words. It's so easy to recognize even though it doesn't overpower. It's wonderful and as you said goes ups the flavor of a wide spectrum of foods. Whatever cardamom is added to, it deepens the flavor experience. How much cardamom and zest would you add? I have some old bananas and would love to mix it up a bit. Not up, just a home-cooked cardamom is insanely strong. You shouldn't need more than a few pods. I recently used 8 for a whole pan of cardamom coffee brownies and it was strong. Crush them to take out the seeds, and then grind the seeds into a powder using a mortar or rolling pin. Crush them to take out the seeds, and then grind the seeds into a powder. Before this, dry roast them on the stovetop for 30 seconds. Amazing magnification of aroma. Learned this trick in India. Good advice for any spices. Miso paste. Gochujang. Doubanjiang. All good stuff. Miso paste is insanely good. I could eat that crap on toast. Edit. I'ma go try it on toast. Edit too. Oh my god, I didn't think it could, but miso has just got so much better. How is it? I put too much on and was overly salty, but good enough that I think I can try again another time with less and it'll be really good. Sorry to be a game changer, but they make this product, and I think it might be kind of exactly what you're looking for. It's one of those things like Toom or Sriracha that just magically works on anything and everything. Web link. I just purchased this on your recommendation and I'm super excited. This is amazing. I never knew I needed but am now going to buy. Thanks. I've been mixing gochujang paste with fajita mix, coat some chicken pieces with it, and bake them with veggies. I call it the border chicken. That chicken is crossing more borders than the American military. Sounds tasty as hell. Single favorite ingredient. List 3. Laughing my butt off. Can't just have one favorite ingredient for Asian foods. To be honest. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.